Hi Tea Society, welcome back to the Antisocial Planet. Today we are checking out ITZY's Girls Will Be Girls. I'm so excited. Okay, not only have I been singing like the little part that I got from the like preview of the different album songs, but I'm also just so excited. This is my first comeback with ITZY and it just seems like it's going to be so good. Not just from what I got to see of choreo and hear from the song, but also just like the aesthetic of it and the attitude, right? The main character energy that I'm getting from this already is just perfect. It's what I'm craving. So I'm so excited to get to check out the song. So yes, I'm checking out a lyric video first. Yes, I understand that means it may not be correct in terms of translations or who's singing what. That's okay. Just here to get a vibe. And yes, I'm gonna pause. So if any of that bothers you, leave now, forever hold your peace. Okay, I'm too excited for this. Like, it's fine, we're fine. Just listen to the song. I've been singing this. That bass line? Ooh, okay, I know I'm interrupting right away. I said I was gonna pause. Okay, I've been singing this melody like ever since I heard it in like the preview. I love that like glitchy stuttering sound like off the bat, like it's jarring and attention grabbing. Love that. This bass that's just like filling in the back, like it's just like steady. There's something like cinematic about it. And then there's like one higher synth that's like panning back and forth. I'm already like, I'm immersed. I'm here. I'm sat.
We'll be girls, we'll be girls. Girls will be girls, we'll 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 be girls. Sweet 위로 당긴 trigger, 불이 붙어버린 심장. Giddy giddy, here we go, my friend. Ooh ooh ooh, 나를 구원해줄 hero. 따위 원치 않는 ego. 기다리는 건 not my way. I swear, I swear.
I mean, where's the lies with that line? Wait, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for it to pull back. And then this like scratchy sounding like synth. Hang on, my brain needs to process and catch up. The whispers are a lot. With a little vocal. Waiting is not my way is a good line. No, no. Rijin, sit down. Thank you. With the lower vocal, but I love that with this build up, almost this pulling up the chest voice, belting note for some of it we got with Chaeyoung and Leah, and then having that like lower vocal before we get into it. It's almost like a chant. I love that too with this whole like descending like Girls Will Be Girls melody, is that it feels like this chant and like the claps. It feels like this, there's this crowd energy, that sound. And it's something that I keep seeing as I go through more of ITZY's discography, is just this feeling of how good would this be live? Every single song, I'm like, this song would be so good live. But I love, again, like the attitude of like a hero to save me. Waiting is not my way though. Like this idea of like, why would I wait if I could just do it myself? There were a couple of other lines. Sorry, my brain is trying to keep up with all of the synth things that are happening too. Like the sound of this is so like full and then pulling back at certain points that it has this like jarring effect to it. And I love that just from the vibe that I'm getting so far between what we've seen previews of the album, or I've seen previews of the album, and then getting the teasers for the MV is again playing off of this idea of like girls will be girls, but they're not leaning into some of the traditional kind of feminine imagery or whatever. Even just like the sound, right? This is not something that's very, I don't know, like bubbly and bright and things that may have been more expected of a girl group prior to a lot of the more like girl crush kind of things. And the aesthetic of the MV from what I saw the teasers is also not leaning into those traditional like feminine like imagery and all of that. So it's playing off of some of that kind of jarring effect of yes, we're girls and also we can just do it ourselves, like it's fine. This idea of this being like a girl anthem and at the same time is it like through a male lens or through a larger societal lens of like expectations. So I feel like the jarring sound with the synths and like switching from these higher notes to these lower notes and this like full production to these more pulled back production, like minimal production, is like adding into that of it's okay if I shock you. It's okay if you find me jarring. I'm just gonna do what I want anyway. That's always been what ITZY's thing has been from what I've seen so far of their discography, is I'm just gonna do what I want because why not? I'm not hurting anybody. We're just here to have fun. It's fine.
There's
Oh, I like the hold your hand instead. And the
Let me hear saying
even the wheels scream. Oh my gosh, wait, I know I'm interrupting, I know I am, but I also love that we have this descending melody with the girls will be girls, right? But then we have this synth that's like ascending, right? So you even have that contrast of those two things, this almost like seesawing effect in the overall production with the vocal melody, which is also really cool. I've got siren like alarm. Ooh, vocals. Yeji, no, absolutely not. The mixing also is not helping. Why are we panning all around? It feels like it's panning through my brain. Don't, It's got vocal fry in it too. Ooh, beautiful flip up. Ooh, beautiful layered there. I need them to stop doing all this panning stuff too. Like the mixing is crazy with all of this like back and forth in the panning. If you're like not wearing headphones, I feel like it doesn't have the same effect, but it's oof. Like it scratches a part of my brain, but also I'm like, whoa, it's a little bit trippy at the same time. And I think that just again adds in to this like attention grabbing, jarring effect. ITZY has always been one of those groups that is okay with taking up space, right? Like they're like, okay, if you want to watch me and have all these opinions and talk about me, okay, keep talking. That's fine. At least I'm on your mind. At least I'm still gonna be like successful because you keep talking about me. So I love that it has some of that loud noise. It has some of that attention grabbing. I love that they're leaning into some of the lower range in some of this as well, and then having these beautiful flip ups, but also leaning into some of that vocal fry and everything. It just adds like a bit of texture and contrast again, but also leaning into some of the going against expectations for women. I don't know what it all is for South Korea, but I know definitely in North America, if women use vocal fry, apparently it's a whole thing, right? Everybody's got an opinion about how like terrible that is, even though it's just like a very natural part of speech, but it tends to lower the voice to have the vocal fry in it. And I feel like that is more of the issue, is that it isn't having that higher, lighter voice that is like more feminine and whatever. So I like them leaning into some of that kind of grittier sound and having that lower cadence and drawing out the sounds. It sounds very languid, right? And lazy, right? Having this like drawn out sound of I'm just going to do whatever I want. And I'm not in a rush to change anything or whatever. I've got this, it's fine. And I love the togetherness too, and like holding hands and saying, oh, I'll drop everything and hold your hand instead. This idea of banding together, like I said before, like a girls anthem, not just the sense of yay, like girls are great, but also the sense of hey, let's stick together. If I need to drop everything and hold your hand instead, I will, because that's what's being a girls' and right. I love that idea of them banding together as a group, but also banding together in terms of just, like I said, a crowd of people singing this, having a whole group of like girls and women and people who are more on the feminine presenting side, getting a moment to like sing all together and be like strength in numbers and a collective, and understanding that you have people backing you up. And I just love that like energy to this as well, between like the way that they're arranging the song and like the lyrical content that we're getting. Right with you, I glow. Ooh. Whoa. It's like a grungy sound. Oh, we better get a dance break. Good ad libs.
Yeah.
I love that we, like, again, had that, yeah, at the end, but again, this drawn out vocal fry, like, lazy sounding vocal, but in contrast to some of the energy from it. I also like I was just thinking if it will be like together to the end or like with you till the end or something. I don't know if we'll be able to find the lyric. Anyway, it was definitely a lyric of that kind with Chaeyoung's part. But I was just thinking we have the like post-apocalyptic images in the music video, from at least what I've seen of the preview, and I was like, yeah, I'll go with you to the end. Having something that's post-apocalyptic is like end of the world, right? It had that feeling of like very like empty, and there was destruction, and they're like beat up, and it's leaning into some of that and saying like, hey, even if we get to the end of the world, all right, band together, we'll figure it out. I love just thinking of ahead of what the music video is going to be. I like leading into that energy. Again, not just because it contrasts a lot of traditionally feminine imagery, but also because it leans into that idea of here till the end of the line, right? Like here till the end of all things. As long as we stick together, we're going to figure this out. And even in teaser for the music video had the image of them all like holding hands together. So I love already the vibe that we're getting. Again, the main character energy of this song. So good, so fun, and I feel like I'm gonna have to check out live performances. I see it like every single ITZY song, but I feel like just the energy of everyone singing that girls will be so much fun to see in like a live setting. Even just this opening image of like birds like circling, right? I think of like scavengers, but also I don't think like a murder of crows, right? So I don't know enough about birds to know if that's what we're dealing with, but that imagery again. Nice. I love that's the image we start with. We start together. Whoa. What are those things? Ooh, dang. The smirk too. Having these like giant birds. Are we dealing with, I want to say like vultures just because like giant bird scavenger, but I'm like, I don't know if that's what it is. We're like leaning into something that's a little bit more fantasy wise. And then having the like roast bird that we're like stabbing. Dang. Okay, we mean business. Because I'm like, what is this creature that we're fighting? Dang. Dang, the putting on the winged eyeliner using the knife. I see you. Okay. I didn't know we were getting violence, but dang, all right, okay, sure. We mean business. Even the stitching around the heart. I like the lyric of I don't need a hero. We changed it between the translations. Ooh, I love that we got like the scream and we have Leah like screaming there, but also the like sound of the birds. This stresses me out. Don't tip it. I know they're probably not driving it, but ooh, the choreo. Sorry, the choreo with the hip isolation, but then having the like framing of the face, bringing in some of those almost like feminine elements, but it's in this stilted, very like strong, like hard stop movements. Love that. Ooh, and that like come at me. It was like, aww. Thank you for rescuing Leah. I don't know why I got emotional with that hug. Maybe it's also just because I have a little bit of separation anxiety because of Leah. Just because I know I'm going to get to a point. And I feel like every time I know that there's a member of our group who took time off, I just feel like an extra need to savor the moments in which they're there, because I'm just like, I appreciate you. So I have some of that. But I like that it's like it's almost like their hideout was found and then we're like on the move. I love that, like, all packed up. You can't hunt us down properly. And we're like, we gotta get Leah. And I like that it's like Odijin coming in. Hang on, there's too many things. Sticking together, right? Dang. Oh my god, like the counting. Dang, it's violent. I like it though. Oof. Ooh, okay. I also I like that, like, one, they're not showing that it's like easy, like fighting off these birds that are like hunting them down. I feel like their little like hideout was found, having to be like separated and having to get Leah right, which, like, by the way, was doing all right by herself, and then it was just like at the end it was like, hey, but it's nice to have help. I like the imagery of that, to be like, it's not that you're not strong enough to do it on your own, it's that it's a lot easier when you have somebody to help you. And then having them all together, it's like they have even like the protection of being in this car, right? Like they have a separation between them and these adversaries, right? If we're going a little bit more abstract of what they symbolize, right? And even just having it drop, the birds like dropping around them, right, is that you can feel like there's all these things kind of coming at you like projectiles, but also it's a lot easier to ignore those things when you have other people to support you, right? So even just like being there with like Leo being there with Udijin is like, oh, it's easier for me to ignore these things and for them to not matter and for them to not be able to come at me, like after me, if I have someone who's there to support me the whole time. And then even here, the car breaking down, of like, hey, sometimes the vehicle that you're using, the way that you're using to propel yourself forward on whatever journey you're on, sometimes there are hiccups along the way and you have to rejig the plan, right? So I love just all the symbolism of this. I like that it's a struggle, but they're still like able to do it by themselves, right? Like they fix the car on their own, they figure it out, even if it's not perfect, they help each other, they're just troubleshooting as they go. But that's okay too, right? It's okay for you to just like test some things out and figure it out, and like they've got this, and I like that too. Even like we'll keep going on is like when they fix the car. I like it. Dang. Yeah, what are those things? Whoa. Ooh, dang. Okay, first off, those things look almost, I want to say like sandworms from Dune, because I'm a nerd, okay? I'm one of the people who read multiple of those books before the new films came out. Okay, I've never claimed not to be a nerd. It reminds me of that, of just it's just like this open mouth, right? And I think the reason that I'm thinking, I don't know, specifically that is almost like greed, maybe, or gluttony, right? This idea of just wanting to consume and not thinking of the consequences, right? Like it's the single-minded need to go after something. And I think that is also interesting. We had them all eating at the table as well. So it's not like they don't also have ambitions. It's not like they don't also have things that they want to go after. It's just that it's not with the single-mindedness of these creatures that they're up against, which can be lots of things. I feel like they probably symbolize a lot of different hurdles that they've had to overcome and like hurdles that other people have to overcome. But it could feel like you're being metaphorically eaten alive when it all piles up, right? Whether that's a bunch of difficult things happening all at the same time. It could be dealing with like internet discourse. It could be being in the public eye, right? It could be just having a lot of stressors or a lot of responsibility. It can feel like once those things pile up, it's just like the single-minded need to consume your time, consume your energy, consume proximity or like popularity by proximity, right? So I feel like having it just be this almost like mouth with teeth that's just like flying at them is like super symbolic. And then having the arrow go like through to the heart. Love it. Especially since we had in the trailer, right, for this comeback was the like anatomical heart and this whole like, oh, my heart stopped beating. And then having this be like very like action heavy and fast paced, right, in contrast. Love so much of the imagery in this music video so far. And I feel like we're about to get the dance break. That's why I'm like, I'm trying to get all the thoughts out, because once the dance break happens, I'm not going to be able to have like other thoughts. Ooh. Yeji, ma'am, do not smile like that. Okay, but I like having her at center, and it's almost like her movements are like controlling the group, right? As like leader of the group. I like that. And also follow my lead in a lot of ways of, hey, I'll hold your hand, I got your back. Follow my lead. It's fine, right? Okay, they're all kind of doing a different image there. Yeah, you do not need to smirk like that. Ooh, that little like on the synth. Ooh, the layers there. Dang, the layers that they're... Ma'am, do not smirk at me like that. But the layers that they're using in it, I like how they're all doing like slightly different things, right? Like it's in a very similar vein, the kind of movements or like the body shapes that they're holding for certain parts, but they're not exactly the same. And I like that too, just like symbolically of, hey, we're all different, but girls will be girls, right? Like, even though we're different, doesn't mean that we can't all band together and help each other out. It's okay to use those differences to our advantage, right? Fill in the weaknesses for each other and be like a united front. It doesn't matter that we're not exactly the same. I just need to watch it again, okay? It's fine. I like how they hit all the little synths and stuff. Even that like, on that like vocals sample. Cool like framing there. Dang, the floor work and the hair flips. Can we just say, again, bringing in those like feminine movements into the choreography as well. Like they're powerful. I think it's when we have those like hard stops and almost this like stuttering right in it where you get like those hard stops in a beat, stop, beat, right? Like you're getting this almost like staccato feeling to a lot of their movements, but then they're taking very feminine movements and then having those hard stops, which are like bringing more power to them, right? Almost like an aggressive edge to it. And I like that too of I will take this feminine expectation and I will make it my own because I can. Like the spotlight as well. Leah, you don't need to be like that. Ooh, I love the kick. I love the kick so much. Like the little like whipping out of the foot is so good. On that little like synth sound too. Whoa. Ooh, love that with the chest isolation. Chaeyoung, look, they're all doing great with this dance. There's something about Chaeyoung when she gets center, the aura of her. Then I'm just like, I feel oddly proud. I don't know, I haven't been here that long, but I'm still just, every time she just has the like main character aura and she's center of a formation, I'm just like, that's our girl. I mean, hey, maybe I'm on my own island. That's okay. I'll die on that hill on my own if I have to. Ooh, love the switch there with Yuna's facial expression. So good. Mean business. Whoa, hi? Ooh, the smirk on like the giggle. Ooh, and I like how they're just like, yeah, we'll fight this. But I also, like I was saying, it seemed like the, I don't know, bird flying things were just like all like mouth, right? And I was like, oh, that feels very much like gluttony and greed and consuming everything in sight in this very single-minded way. And then having the big bad or like the boss be just like a huge eye. I think that's also very symbolic of like constantly being watched, right? I think them as idols, as public figures, that's very in line with probably their experience of always feeling like they have eyes watching them and judging and having an opinion about what they're doing. But I think also just going into girls, women, femme presenting people of it feels like you're always being watched, right? Like you're always having to perform because there's so many more expectations. And again, I don't know all the ins and outs of that in South Korea because that's not somewhere that I've been. There's always been this like pressure to be like, to meet very specific expectations of what it means to be like a woman and to be feminine and there are those expectations for like other genders too, but we're focusing on girls in this particular one. So having this idea that you have this giant like eye that's watching over you and constantly observing what you're doing. Love that. And I love that they're just like putting on like the war paint and smirking at the idea of having to fight this kind of surveillance in a way. Even just like constantly being followed by all of these kind of like creatures along the way too, is like feeling like there's constantly something that you need to be dealing with. There's constantly like something that's like kind of hovering over you. And I love that too. And I love that a lot of this was them like at a ground level as well. It was, we had the Chaeyoung like going up to be an archer, but a lot of this is them staying at ground level, and there's something very like grungy and I don't know, like DIY about it, right? That it's, hey, we're not trying to be like above everything. We're not trying to say that we get to have a different experience because of who we are, the success that we've had, or anything like that. It's like, this is about banding together, and that means that you have to be at ground level with everybody else, right? Like we all are at the same level. That's what that means. Just, I love all the symbolism. I feel like there's probably so many other things that I could have pulled out, and I don't know if there's other storyline things in terms of their discography, like references to other music videos, because I'm still catching up on stuff, but loved it. Loved the song, loved the music video. Can't wait to check out the choreo because it looks great. I love that this gets to be my first comeback. Loved that so much. I've been singing the little like snippet that I heard ever since. It's just been like something that's been playing in my head. And I love, again, all of the symbolism and stuff. I feel like there's probably so many things in this music video. Also was just thinking if there's anything specifically in reference to like Korean, I don't know, folklore or sayings or whatever that may be incorporated with this as well. I wouldn't know, but definitely let me know things down in the comments. I'm always reading through those, and I love getting to see other people's like perspectives and all of that. But yeah, loved it. I'm just sitting here like smiling. I feel oddly proud. Again, I don't know what that is because I haven't been here for a super long time as a fan of ITZY, but there's just something about like confidence in this. And even though they were struggling through parts of the music video, it was always with this confidence that we'll figure it out. We've got this. Like, as long as we stick together, that's okay. Like, the only time that it ever seemed like they were stressed was when Leah was on her own, right? And we're like, we got to get her and be together. And then after that point, it was like, it's cool. We can figure this out. So I like the idea of bringing all of it together. And I feel like also it's symbolic that it was Leah, right? Of all people, to be like, hey, we're not going to leave anybody behind. So I like bringing all of that together into the music video. And again, I feel like so much kind of symbolism of the things that they're going through, and also just probably like a fun time. Like, I think there's behind the scenes of this probably at some point. I don't know, I'll have to look through things and catch up on everything that's going on with the comeback, but I think that would also just be super fun because it's like very like cinematic and like action movie, and I love that too, that they're just leaning into getting to have some fun like they've always brought into their music, but also through this lens of something a bit like grungier, and so finding a lot of humor in some of it as well, of just some of the facial expressions and things in performance from them. I don't even know. Okay, I'm excited, and I love getting to see this music video, and the song is great. So I hope you enjoyed listening to that along with me. You can click this place to go and see my previous reactions, or you can subscribe to me next time I post an ITZY reaction. I will see you in the next video. Bye.